I will call the December 17th, 2018 City Council meeting to order. Call for roll call.
John Hawkins. Matt McKinney.
Here.
Brian Miller.
Here.
Jim Talbot.
Here.
Logan Welch.
Here.
I call for a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of item 7 on the general agenda.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Same, or nay for the same? All right. Pledge of allegiance. All right, the next section is petitions, communications, and requests. This is the time of the meeting that a citizen may address the council on a matter not on the agenda. Except in cases of an emergency, the city council will not take any action at this meeting, but may ask the city staff to research the matter or have the matter placed on the agenda for a future meeting. Do we have any public information?
Unfortunately, the county experienced a severe fire over the weekend, and this morning reached out to Nikki, the county engineer, and told her that whatever she needed, just give us a call and we would respond as best we can. At this point in time, they have requested 2 vehicles. We have provided them with 2 vehicles, and we'll go on from there. So, thank you.
Nice, thanks, Ken. All right, next section is B, minutes and claims.
Right. I'd like to make one statement, follow up with what Ken said. I wanted to compliment and thank all the first responders from our police department, fire departments. We had Duncan, Woolstock, Stratford, and Stanhope in our fire department, and all of our police, and we had, I think, the deputies. Then I was out by there, and we had a lot of city employees out there helping to direct traffic, so I want to thank them on my behalf, on behalf of the city. They did a great job.
Yeah, I don't think the trucks got back till like 3 or 4.
It was about 4 o'clock, I think, when we got back in.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, next section B, minutes and claims. The following items have been deemed to be non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or a member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, it will be considered on its normal sequence on the agenda. I asked, do we want to take these collectively?
Go ahead and read.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1, minutes of December 3rd, 2018. 2, resolution on payroll for the period ending December 8th, 2018 and paid on December 14th, 2018. And 3, resolution on bills fund list.
I'll move to approve them collectively.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. C, general agenda. Item 1 on the agenda is public hearing. Public hearing on proposed plans and specifications and proposed form of contract and estimate of cost for the 605 2nd Street demolition project. Public hearing has been canceled. I call for a motion.
The motion is to reject.
I call for a motion to reject all bids on the 605 2nd Street demolition project.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 2 on the agenda is report and recommendations from the Hotel Motel Tax Board, round 22 grant applications note. All right, I call Andy Soul from the Hotel Motel Tax Board Chairman.
Alright, thank you guys. We had a lot of recommendations, a big amount of recommendations this year, with a little bit of funding. I think we had, a third of what we had in the balance to go through as far as recommendations for the request. So we'll start off with the Ace Community Center. We are recommending a $10,000 fund for them. The board thinks it's critical time for them and the community to move forward on some of their projects. But we'd still like to see more fundraising and more of a path or plans to move forward for them to grow. This $10,000 support is for the commercial kitchen project. They did also request for a roof replacement project. Their total request amount was $48,458.82. Arts Are Alive, we're recommending $7,945. This is for the permanent piece, that would be downtown. Their original request was for $9,000. The board felt that the Arts Are Alive organization's done a good job moving forward with their projects. They're making our community enhanced, and we felt like this was a good opportunity for us to continue to support them. Our next one was Hamilton County Conservation. We're recommending $5,000. Their request was for $11,760 for marketing for their 100-year anniversary for Rick's Woods this coming summer. We did do $5,000 as a recommendation, but we would like to see them go after some extra funds somewhere outside of the city, enhance Hamilton County, or other grants, any other revenue for marketing as well. We also thought that this, although this is a 3-day event for them, it was all mostly on one day, so the overnight stays is less likely to happen at that point. Hamilton County Veterans Memorial, we are recommending not funding them at this time. They were pretty new at their project, and we thought that they were kind of putting a whole bunch of eggs in one basket. We thought that if they started doing some fundraising from the pavers, getting that going, and that could help pay for the memorial. We do encourage them to come back and request from us again once they get some funds started towards that. We think it's a good project, just not right at this moment. Hero Board, we're recommending $15,000. The board feels that the Hero Board has a proven track record of bringing people to town, and that has also enhanced our community. The board also noted that additional funding that they were bringing was very important and positive for their grant application. Their request was for $20,249, and ours was we're recommending $15,000. Excuse me. The Jane Young House, their request was for $13,565. We are recommending $4,690. We did ask them their priorities on this. Insulation, sign, and marketing were their priorities, so we decided to go after and help them fund that part of the grant. TTMM, Hamilton County Speedway, their request was for $75,000. We're recommending $40,000. The board is encouraging the direction of the racetrack and the vision moving forward to bringing people to town. We also note that although everybody doesn't attend the races weekly here in town, everybody sees that the positive impact it does have on our community, with people coming to town, staying overnight, using our gas stations, eating at our restaurants. We would also like to encourage them to go out and continue fundraising for the rest of the project so they can complete their project. The Webster City High School Band Boosters, they asked for $34,332.80. We're recommending $5,000. The board feels that this does enhance our community, shows pride in our kids by bringing them up to date with new uniforms, shows pride in our community when they travel to other areas and they're showing their skills in different areas. We are hopeful this grant will bring in more funding from outside sources for them, and hopefully that we can help them out a little bit. Wilson Brewer, we're recommending the $14,469.20. The board felt that the museum is an enhancement for our community. We're also encouraged about the self-sustainability in the future with the depot. and that the remodel project that they're doing right now is going the right direction. We as a board did deny a presentation of the Webster Area Chamber due to missing the deadline of turning in the application. Total recommendations, $102,104.20. Questions?
Andy,
Yep.
I have two questions, one on all cultures equal.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are aware that they've gotten a $30,000 grant from, or money from the city and the county both.
They got 30,000. I thought it was 15.
Well, they got 15
each.
from each,
Okay.
so that's 30,000 total.
Right.
And as I read the material, they were gonna use this to improve a stove.
Their type 1 hood system, so they
Okay.
can be a commercial kitchen.
Okay, I'm just trying to question out where this enhances tourism on that particular part of it.
Well, we're hoping that this will actually is going to enhance the community a little bit more, and hopefully it'll get them on their way. In order for them to do any cooking through the fireside, they have to have a commercial cooking system. In order for them to sell anything and make profits, them to rent out their building and have a commercial cooking area there. So in order for any of that to happen, they have to have the kitchen in order for that to happen. So if they want to rent out their building, if they want to sell any food for profit, it's got to be approved by with the type 1 system, with the Ansel system.
Yeah, no, I just had a concern because I don't think they're doing fundraising of any significance. Then the second on the Jane Young House, they're gonna use it for installation.
Installation. Did you see their presentation? Were you here
I
for
didn't see the
that?
presentation. I
There's
saw
no
the
installation
synopsis.
in the Jane Young House at all right now. In order for us to keep them funded and for them to stay vigilant, I guess, on getting people to come visit their house, keep their stuff in good shape, and also, you know, they're trying to rent out the Jane Young House now to groups. We feel like that they need at least to have insulation in there to keep it at a modest temperature.
And have they been doing fundraisings?
What's that?
Have they been doing fundraisings?
They're starting to get a little bit closer in on that.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
Andy, will the $10,000, I didn't watch their presentation, but will the $10,000 for ACE cover that hood?
So their presentation, they asked for 24,000, I believe, but it wasn't broke down by hood system, plumbing system, because it was a hood system, plumbing system.
It says here,
5%.
they requested 48,000.
Right, and they took the roof part of it out,
Okay,
which
So
would have
it
been
is-
about 26.
I got you. So I'm just saying, like, if the $10,000 is meant to get their kitchen up to date, I just hope that would be enough to cover that, and that's what that would pan out.
We're, as far as we know, that's as much as we can give them for that part of it. They didn't break it down line by line item, so we couldn't tell you exactly if that was
Fair enough.
gonna cover it.
And on the Veterans Affairs, I had some meetings with them on that, and,
Okay.
you know, my question is, I understand where they were coming from on that. And, I'm part of the Legion, we do about 600 flags every Memorial Day. You know, there's about 600 plus veterans buried in that one cemetery. And, where a lot of people aren't aware of that. But, could I talk to you at some time of what they need to work at or look at for the future?
Yeah, we can talk at any time. It's basically they were trying to do a really, really big project
No,
at one time.
I saw what they were looking at, yeah.
And we need them to break it down and get a start on that project, is how we felt. If they were to start bringing in money for, say, pre-selling bricks or something like that, then we could see a good faith effort in moving forward.
Okay, yeah, all right, good, thank you.
Else?
Any other questions?
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. And no other discussion or questions regarding that?
I'd like to vote on them individually.
All right,
I would too, and just to be clear, agenda item number 2, it has an A and B in it, correct?
right.
So there's another request we'll be voting on outside of the recommendation.
So do I need to vote on this and then go to 2B?
Right.
All right, so we'll vote separately.
this, I have the amounts that they're.
So I need a motion to approve $10,000 to All Cultures Equal.
So moved.
Second.
And we'll roll call. Give me a lot of writing there.
Just a minute. Logan,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Talbot,
No.
All right, motion to approve $7,945 for Arts Are Alive in Webster City.
So moved.
Second.
And we'll roll call.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Talbot,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
All right, motion to approve $5,000 to the Hamilton County Conservation. Roll call?
we need a
I'll
motion.
move.
Oh, sorry.
Second. I don't know who moved or seconded.
I got Matt making the motion. Logan second. Call Miller,
Yes.
Talbot,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Hamilton County Veterans, recommended funding is not to fund. I don't think we really need to.
Motion on it.
It wasn't moved forward to vote on this.
All right, motion to approve $15,000 to help entertain and restore organization.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Talbot,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes. All right, motion to approve $4,690 to the Jane Young Foundation.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Welch,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Talbot,
No.
All right, motion to approve $40,000 to TTMM Promotions, Hamilton County Speedway.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Talbot,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Motion to approve $5,000 to the Webster City High School Band Boosters.
Before we vote on this one, I did think of just another question I had for Andy. On this one, the original ask was $34,000 and you're suggesting $5,000. Do they have any other funding sources going right now? Any like, I haven't seen any.
Fundraisers, they had some fundraisers at Hy-Vee and Fairway. I believe they're selling, I know they're selling hair bands
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
and then some Webster City cleans and stuff like that.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of.
And I believe that what they're doing is, they're going to use all their fundraiser dollars first, and we were just kind of a
Supplemental.
filler. Yep,
Okay. Is 34,000 their actual goal?
that's their goal. Yeah.
Okay.
For all their stuff.
Thanks.
they did have a silent auction at the ball games Friday night too,
Oh,
a
nice.
bakery auction, so they are
Okay.
pretty engaged.
Just wanted to ask before we voted, but thanks, Andy, appreciate it.
No problem.
So, need a motion,
Motion for the $5,000 for Webster City High School Band Boosters.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Miller,
Yes.
Talbot,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
All right, motion to approve $14,469.20 to the Wilson Brewer Historic Park Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Talbot,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Good timing.
That's very set up. All right.
So now, 2B.
Item 2B on the agenda is a motion to consider Webster City area Chamber of Commerce request Can I call on a representative from the chamber board?
Yes, may I speak?
You may.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Denise Smith, and I am representing the Webster City Chamber of Commerce Board tonight. And I first would like to lead off with our apologies on our late turning in of our application. I'm sure you're well aware of the difficulties our board has faced recently with the loss of our staff. I don't think I need to go into that tonight. But I do want you to know our board is fully committed to moving forward with our proposal, to moving forward with all of the projects listed in our proposal. We have recently hired a new director. Her name is Jennifer Kerwin-Peterman, and she will begin with our chamber office tomorrow, December 18th. I want you to know that it is our intention as a board to provide as much support as we can for every event listed here in our proposal, that all of us have given many, many hours of our time and volunteered to make sure that the chamber office was staffed with volunteers, to make sure the bills got paid, to assist in any investigations that were required by us. And I would like to thank all of our members for giving as much time as they could possible. The reason for our late intern of our request was simply a miscommunication on my part, and that was my fault, and I fully take responsibility for that. We had our Christmas in the City event the weekend before. I had 2 or 3 events prior to that. And I just want you to know that we just got our wires crossed that day, so it was ready to go. If you have any questions about our proposal or any of the information included, I would love to answer those for you this evening.
I don't have any questions about the proposal. I think that last chamber lady we did an outstanding job, and I was extremely happy to see what she was doing. I really applauded the work of the chamber at that time, but what safeguards have been installed as far as internal audits and determination? I mean, I've only heard anecdotal pieces. I don't know enough to even comment.
Certainly.
But, you know, I just want to make, you know, because once again, you know, we're representing the city.
Certainly, of
And,
course.
you know, I think there's so many people that have been, you know, Jump Fest was outstanding.
Thank you.
And so many of the other, I'm still waiting for the men's night out, but that's never happened. You know, that never happened. I don't know, I guess, hopefully this director will do it, but, anyway, what safeguards do you have in effect now, or what place? I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the board, but, you know, I think all the board was caught unaware of what was going on. I've talked to some people.
We were certainly caught by surprise by the turn of events that we experienced. I think that we all had a system in place that we thought was sufficient, and we recognize now that it was not. I think as our board has moved forward, we have put in place some stricter financial regulations for us. I think that Lynn McKinney, our board president, has done an excellent job, along with Colette Bertrand, about overseeing the financials. I think that more of the board will be involved with that directly now, rather than leaving that to be trusted to just the director. We will expect the director to fulfill as much of her obligations as she can. However, she will have direct oversight by our board members. At our last board meeting, we vote to freeze our board membership for 1 year, and we are amending our bylaws to make sure that that is a doable process, so that the board members that began this process with what happened are there to support our new director and make sure she is fully aware of the positions and duties that she must fill. I think that we have really learned our lesson in a very painful way.
No, and I'm just guessing. I know, I see 3 people out there I know have their own businesses, so I know they know how to manage their money because they're still in business. That's the one thing. But will there be some kind of external audit? Will some outside, you know, I mean, and please, I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot.
I'm gonna allow Dr. Jim Coon to speak on that.
Okay.
He's one of our board members.
Hi,
I'm not
Dr.
trying
Jim
to put you on the
Combs.
spot.
No, you're fine. There are gym, steps in place. I'm not, or don't want at this time to go into the depths of those until, the investigation is complete.
No, I understand that.
I can just tell you, we have taken steps. I just don't know if we should go into all the details at this time.
No, your word's fine, you know.
Yeah.
And please understand, you know, I'm not questioning the boards in the past.
No,
because
and that's fine.
sometimes-
I just don't want to get into great detail of what's been done so far, cause it still is an ongoing investigation. And until that's complete, then we'll be more than happy to let everybody know what's been done.
Okay,
And
no.
I know there's a lot of questions out there, you know, we
And I'm just-
field questions, you know, every week, people wanna know. And I tell them the same thing, till the investigation's complete, then then we'll proceed forward and answer as many questions as we can.
Yeah, I understand. And no, my concern was just to make sure there was a safeguard.
Yes, there is.
Okay, thank you, Doc.
You bet, no
That's
problem.
That's all I'm asking for assurance, and you gave it, thank you.
Yep.
I think it's admirable that you guys are freezing that board and keeping things as, you know, normal as possible to give that new director support.
Yeah,
And I definitely appreciate all the volunteers that have stepped up, to keep that thing going, so.
We have a wonderful board and a great group of volunteers that have come in and offered their own time to sit in the office and field phone calls and keep the daily business of the chamber going, including our newsletter and our table tents and trying to interact with the community and our members as much as possible. We want to continue to provide support to our business owners in Webster City. We want to make sure that they have all the tools in their toolbox to drive that tourism piece of our plan, because that not only helps our members but the whole community if we can continue to draw with events like Junk Fest and Ladies Night Out and Sip and Stroll. So thank you for considering our request and considering our situation.
I know you guys apply every year,
Yes.
and this is no different than the other years, or are there big changes?
The only change we have right now is that we're requesting for the whole year rather than coming back and presenting in 6 months, just because we feel that our new director will have so much on her plate. We just want to get her off to a good start and get the ball rolling and not bog her down in the minutia of it all, and hopefully she can get going. And I think that's only the really big change for us. There's a slight increase in the dollar amount that we've asked for this year because we'd like to add some additional events. We had talked about a fall festival would be something that the chamber board would like to see happen again, and possibly more promotion of all of our current slate of events.
Right. One question I had, for that dollar amount, that 29,000, what percent of your yearly budget is that? I mean, again, not to put you on the spot, but ballpark it. I mean, I'm just kinda curious, how?
Third.
A third, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we go through these a lot where, you know, what qualifies it, and there's no other entity in Webster City, maybe arguably the racetrack, that brings people into Webster City more than the chamber does, or attempts to, so.
Yeah, I would agree, the activities the chamber plans is probably one of the primary drivers for bringing people into the community.
No, I agree, and you know, the hotel motel board did exactly what they're designed to do.
Of course.
They're designed to make an even, fair playing field to all the applicants. So I totally understand them denying you the ability to present. You know, I'm not, again, wanting to make this sound like any special treatment at all, but the chamber affects several businesses, affects our community as a whole, and really our area, or central Iowa, really. So again, we want you to stay as strong as possible, at least, you know, I do. And of course, Jim had some great points going to next year. We're not some authority figure over you, like, are you doing proper accounting? You guys have a board and you're completely capable of doing that, but of course, there's obviously some doubt in the community of where this money's going. But again, a lot of that doubt also comes from people that don't understand how much you've done in the past and how many events actually came from the chamber that maybe they thought were either city events or just a business that just threw an event, but really the chamber did a lot of the manpower and a lot of the funding behind it. So again, I appreciate the fact that you guys are still kicking, and you guys took a big one this year. Again, I appreciate you coming and pleading your case here, and we'll talk it out here, but I appreciate it.
Thank you for allowing us to come tonight and talk, and if you have any other questions, please direct them to myself or any of the board members, either in this meeting or outside, and we'd be happy to answer them for you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Discussion.
All right, I guess we're at the point where I'll call for a motion to approve the $29,292.68 for the Webster City Area Association of Business and Industry, Webster City Area Chamber of Commerce.
So moved.
I guess I would just like to have one point of discussion. I know, lady mentioned about applying for the entire year. And I guess I would make a proposal, we do the 6 months and work with them. You're on the board too, right? Lindsay, I'm talking to.
No, I'm not on the board.
No, but I mean, you know, if we could, you know,
So,
help, you know, do 6 months now, then, you know, help them in 6 months, or, you know, work with it. I mean, at least that would get them started, I guess.
So you're proposing?
Because this is exception from everything I understand, and, you know, I mean, I've only been here 3 years.
My
But,
opinion on that is applying for this is not easy.
Well, I understand it.
Taking that off the plate of the new director would be a benefit. I could see as that role.
I do see Jim's point, and no disrespect to the chamber. I do see your point though, Jim, because basically we're bypassing the hotel motel board twice in
Well,
6 months
I'd
now.
like to hear Andy.
However,
Just for discussion, we had went through the chamber stuff as well, and we did set that money aside for you guys. We weren't going to grant it, obviously because of the deadline and stuff. But I think in the past year or so, they had done the whole year. I think last year you guys did just the whole year. And we approved just the whole year. It's easier from our end and from their end if the whole year's done.
And if they come in 6 months and try to get more, we can deny it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware.
No, yeah, right. And
unless they catch us asleep at the wheel.
Right.
yeah, so last year, or 2 years ago, because last year they didn't apply, I don't believe, but 2 years ago they did do the whole year at one time.
Okay.
We've gotta get a men's night out in there. I mean,
Thank you.
That's the condition.
If they have one, you're gonna make it, Jim. There's gonna be no going to bed early.
Just one, so on that, he's correct, but they would do it in the spring.
Okay.
They applied in the springtime. And then when we looked at it this year, and then obviously we didn't apply in June for obvious reasons, then we said we'd go ahead this fall, and then the more we looked at it, it just makes sense for us to apply in the fall for the whole year, the next year coming. You know, that way we don't have to come back. I think the one year they came and got some money, and then they came back and got some money for Junk Fest, one of the first years that it was started. And I think they did it twice that year. So we'll just come back next fall for 2020 instead of 2019.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I know when Linda was making the presentation last time, she was hoping that they could get somewhat self-sufficient so they wouldn't have to come to the hotel motel board every year. They were working at that. I think she got the rug pulled out from under her definitely, you know, which is too bad. I mean, she was doing a wonderful job.
Ultimately, yes, that would be our goal, and I think we were headed in that direction. Obviously, now we've taken a big step back from that. But hopefully, give us a couple more years and get back on our feet real good, and we'll be heading in that direction again.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Andy, too.
Well, I'll leave my motion on the floor then to approve the whole amount.
We got moved by Welch
I'll
to,
second then.
all right.
I'm going to abstain from the vote due to a family
Okay.
member on the board.
All right. Roll call?
Welch,
Yes.
McKinney, State,
Abstain.
Miller,
Yes.
Talbot.
Yes.
Number 3.
All right, item 3 on the agenda is the resolution providing for notice of hearing on proposed plans and specifications and proposed form of contract and estimate of cost for the 2019 sewer rehabilitation and repair project
4.
for February 4th at 5:35 PM. I call for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Right here, right? Yep. Item 4A on the agenda is resolution providing for notice of hearing on proposed plans and specifications and proposed form of contract and estimate of cost for construction of 2018-19 electrical underground conversion project for February 4th at 5:35 PM. I call for a motion.
So moved.
How can we have it on? the
No,
same time?
Ken, you wanna give an update on this, just to, I mean, if that's okay, sure, it's exciting, and I know a lot of people are affected, so.
Yeah, I know too. Center Street.
I think you probably have the memo in front of you, and something we did with, I've had long discussions with this. This was gonna be brought to you early December, and engineer was not ready to bring this to you, but it's now ready. The area that is affected is in there's 3 areas. There's an area that really is by Woolsey Avenue, both sides of Woolsey, bordered by Bank on the north side, and then Walnut Street on the south side. That's one area. Next area is, you go down to the lanes, and so you have Beach Street on the west, it goes down to Grove Street, and then it kind of makes a little shot between Cedar and Boone to Des Moines Street. That's area 2. And then the third area is Southfield Heights area, so it would be Des Moines Street on the east side, North Terrace on the west, and then it encompasses everything within it. As you notice in this memo, I kind of tried to lay out for you how we plan to notify those people that are affected and when they are affected. So the first week in January, first week of the year, sometime early January, we're going to send a letter out to those people that are impacted. We thought about trying to do something in City Scene, but that's everybody. And we don't want to, if they're not affected,
The confusion.
it's not applicable to them. So we're going to send a letter out to those people, and then first part of February, we hope to contact by person everyone that's involved. So they understand. They already know that something is coming because they've seen the engineer and line department crews, those kinds of people in backyards trying to figure out where the best place to put this equipment, where the best place, you know, how to get to these houses and that kind of thing. And then the February 11th, we want to hold an informational meeting here for those people that are affected. So they can come in, ask any questions they want to ask, and go from there. So that's how we plan to approach this, and we're going to try and use every form of media we can with those individuals. But it's hard to use mass media because then you get people that are not affected and they're up in arms. It's like, why are you doing it? Well, we're not doing it to you. And so we felt this was the best way to approach this. And I'll try to answer any questions. As you can see, this is a 2-part bidding process. In the electrical, it's a little different on the electrical side than it is on the city side. We will pay tax on the electrical for all our materials. We will pay tax on that. Whereas on the city side, when we do a street project, we don't pay tax for the materials, but we will in this case. That's just the way the law is written. So that's how that works. So that's why you kind of have a contract bid and you have a materials bid. And now with the materials, there may be more than one vendor that will be listed as an award for that bid. They may come in on a certain parts of it that will be cheaper than somebody else. So it's a line item bid as you go through this whole schedule of materials that are needed. One vendor can be cheaper than the other vendor, and then in 5 other items another vendor is cheaper, and so then he will be awarded it. And they're broke down in sections. I can't give you exactly what those sections are. I don't have them in front of me right now, but that's how it's broke down. Questions?
Do not have any questions. I think good idea on how to contact everybody, and not everybody will hear it, and just like everything, right?
Well, our biggest problem is, I think, going to be out-of-state property owners. that's gonna be.
I picture comments on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so we have a motion and Talbot has moved to, approve that, public information.
So we need a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign.
4B.
Item 4B is a resolution providing for notice of hearing on proposed plans and specifications and proposed form of contract and estimate of cost for furnishing materials for the 2018-19 electrical underground conversion project for February 4th at 5:35 PM. Call for a motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Motion's approved. Item 5 on the agenda is a resolution referring a self-supported municipal improvement district petition to the City Planning and Zoning Commission for action.
And you see a copy of the petition
Yep.
there.
Bill, do you wanna get up and say something?
The Webster City Downtown SMID Self-Supporting Municipal Improvement District has been around for 20 years, that each term is 10 years, so we've renewed once. This will be the second renewal. To do that, we needed to get signatures of all the property owners. You'll see in the petition that the threshold was 25% both in count and in valuation. I don't have the exact number, but it was about 80% in valuation and 60% plus in terms of number of signatures. Carla's been provided with the petitions, so we just need to move this forward so we can continue with this for another 10 years. It's, I don't know how much detail you want to get into as to what it is and so on, but we're the property owners downtown essentially by levy. Funding things downtown, namely mulch beds, planter pots, things like that. So, any other questions?
I think from the city's perspective, it's a good thing because it's funding some of those improvements for the downtown, which have, if this isn't in place, the city would have to fund.
Or somebody.
It's great that the businesses are willing to take that on again.
All right, thank you, Bill.
May I ask a question? I'm sorry. I noticed, I was just going through here and looking. The work they do, I mean, I really think that's great. Now, is there one organization that does the sidewalks?
Well, the sidewalks aren't actually,
So that's,
be more, yeah, we're not responsible, haven't been in the
mulch, Jim?
past.
no, just for moving the snow.
Oh,
No.
they don't do that.
No, we did the first couple of years.
Okay, I thought that was
Yeah.
somewhere, I remember.
And
that.
it, there were a few reasons that it didn't work well, so we stopped doing that. It obviously cost more, the levy was higher, it just, you know, we have to get out ahead of the maintainer that windrows it. And unfortunately, snows don't follow that schedule very well, so we'd push snow at 3 AM, and by 8 AM, often it would be drifted in or the snow continued, and it just, people were having to do snow removal themselves anyway,
Yeah.
so it was just kind of a waste. And our thought at the time, well, I mean, we'd entertain that again. We have an annual meeting in January where we discuss such things and set the levy for the new year, but we just felt it was more hassle than it was worth.
Okay. No, I saw, there's some names on there, I remember the Legion, there was no signature there, so I was wondering, but then you're talking about the value of the property. So I guess that was the question I had, so.
Okay, anything else?
No, thank you.
I think so. Thanks, Bill. All right, call for a motion?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, item 6, right? Item 6 on the agenda is a motion on a request from the Community Vitality Director to subscribe to the local service community calendar. And I bet Lindsay's got something for us.
I like a PowerPoint, so. I'll wait for that to get fired up. Sorry, if I'd left it on, then you would have been looking at the title page the whole time. And
Yeah, do not take into account that everybody left right before you got.
The pressure's off, right? My audience is gone. There's hardly anybody here, so that's all right. Okay, so just to start, I guess, as we've done several different forms of community engagement, both earlier this year through our rebranding process, and then again with some of the university students and their projects, one of the things that often comes up as one of the primary challenges in the community is communication, not just from the city to residents, but across organizations, and how difficult it is to find one source for what's happening in the community. And so here's a slide that's actually from our rebranding presentation. And these are the three main things that came up, that Webster City would be more attractive if we had better marketing and communications, improving communications with residents, and more promotion of the city to its own residents and outside of our community. Childcare options, which we all know is another issue, but then again, increased connectedness, collaboration across organizations. And communication is a challenge for all communities, and there really is no silver bullet. But it may be worthwhile to try something different and innovative. I was at the Iowa Downtown Conference in August, and that's primarily like a Main Street Communities conference that Iowa Economic Development Authority holds, but it's also open to all communities, not just Main Street communities. And the state director for the Main Street program brought up communication as, of course, one of the key issues, particularly for Main Street organizations and cities in general. And he had found out about this new service called Locable, and said that it was worthwhile. So I took a note, and I got in touch with the developers to find out, what this was all about. Myself and Carla, we sat through a couple different demos, hour-long presentations with the developer, and at the end of it, we thought, boy, this is too good to be true. And it might be, but it's cost effective. Oh, was it? Oh, I thought it was actually going to play there for a minute. Sorry, I need to go to this because it has not been playing. So Locable is a software program. It's a little bit difficult for me to explain, but it would enable the city to serve as an anchor organization that would have a community calendar hosted on our website. It would be like a link out. So we'd have our traditional city calendar that had our city business. But this would link out to a separate website, and basically it works like a social network for your community, where we could follow any organization, nonprofit business that can access this service for free, post their events on a Locable website or calendar, and we would be able to have all of that stuff follow them, so all of their events would show up on our calendar. So really the effectiveness is based on how broadly it's used, how many organizations, how many businesses, nonprofits, the schools. It is something that's pretty new. There's a few other similar software programs out there. This particular company really focused on the rural market and the way rural communities communicate with each other. They saw a niche that the market has been ignoring so far with other similar developments. And the cost price point is low enough that there's nobody else in Iowa doing this yet. They've started in California. They have some California communities. So it may work wonderfully and be as great as it seemed after we've done a couple demos. Or if it's not broadly used, it might not end up being the final result. But the cost is low enough that I think it's worth taking a risk and trying something to try to address this need that's been requested in the community. I'm going to go ahead. There's a short 7-minute video from Brian Otrowski, one of the developers, that he put together specifically for Webster City to better explain what we're talking about. And I have no sound. This happened earlier. Why? Probably because this powered down, huh?
There, yeah, it's on now.
Does it go to sleep after a while, probably? Let's try that.
Hello, Webster City, Iowa. I'm Brian Ostrowski. I'm the founder and CEO of Locable. I grew up in a small town called Placerville. Actually, it's very much what this is based on. And what I saw there was the desire and the effort that local businesses and nonprofits and citizens went to support each other and cross-promote each other. But I also saw the challenges that they faced in reaching locals and reaching visitors. with event information, with seasonal job openings, with volunteer opportunities, with information that is hard to keep current throughout a very fragmented internet. So the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how our local connections technology is something that you can implement, but that every business and every nonprofit in your community can use for free to grow their own business, to support the interests that they have, and to support one another.
Cross-promotion happens in different ways in real life, from flyers and windows to hanging things on the coffee shop cork boards, and of course personal referrals. What I'm going to show you here is how Locable enables you to tap into the power of your local connections online with our free and low-cost tools. Best of all, they're automated. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Well, you may be saying we already have a calendar or a job board or whatever. There's something we call none other calendar syndrome, none other job board syndrome. And that is when somebody is posting their stuff, there's just too many places to post it. And so they run out of gas and they don't go to your website, they don't post it, and your resource isn't a resource. Local information is hard to find. So if you're a local or a visitor, that's bad. It's repetitive to promote. So if you're trying to get the word out, it's bad. And it's expensive to manage if you're trying to create a resource for the community. That's bad. So yeah, it's bad for everyone. What we've done is create something called Local Connections. This is a shared community database technology. It is the solution. It's good for formal relationships like merchant associations and chambers where there's membership. And it's great for informal relationships like business owners who are friends, business owners who engage with nonprofits and support the community. And so it's great for all aspects of real life connections. So imagine for a moment, if you will, you're selling your house and realtors had to list it individually on every other local realtor's website. It would be a disaster. And of course, there's the MLS. So I'm going to give you a quick example of how this works. Batavia Main Street wants to promote the other local civic organizations as well as some other organizations in their community. They want to have a community calendar. As you can see, there's a handful of accounts in our software platform. And if you look into the chamber, you'll see that they have this event, their awards. And that award is showing up in the Main Street's calendar on the second item. The chamber's event automatically shows up in the Main Street calendar because Main Street is following the chamber. Now note that we support events, classes, and deadlines. You can show this on one calendar or create multiple calendars that all draw from the same database but show off different sorts of information. It's up to you. But it's not just a calendar. We provide you a set of tools, a calendar, a self-updating directory, a self-updating offers board, a self-updating jobs board, and volunteer board, and we're always adding more. So the directory, you can see a handful of local organizations that are being promoted, and you click on library, all the information is there. The key here is we make it easy to distribute and discover information so that more people are more involved, and that builds a stronger community. So, yeah, it's a tricky problem that requires a bunch of different technology working together. There are some great implications for the community. Every business, every nonprofit gets free tools to enhance their own website, to promote their events, their openings, their offers, and yes, businesses can promote their community, their Main Street, their chamber, their museums, just like those organizations can promote their supporters. Don't settle for doing fine. Activate your community.
Lindsay asked that I share with you our community launch process and the programs we have available to go along with it. You are what we would call an anchor organization. That is, you are leading the charge and you're investing in this program. If there's others in the community that would like to also be anchors, we can bring them into the fold. Now, beyond that, we want to identify local champions. These are individuals who may be at local businesses or nonprofits, might be elected officials, might be in education. These are people who truly care about the community and help us build out an initial coalition to promote the program. We'll also get all of their organizations signed up and participating initially. Again, they can participate at the free level. These champions help in a few key ways. First, they're educated on the basics of the program. This means when they go out in the community, they are carrying the flag for us. Moreover, they will know where to send people to learn more and to participate. The second thing they will do is provide us with a quote and endorsement that we can use as we promote the program. This helps validate the legitimacy of the program and demonstrate some momentum. The goal here is for people to feel like the train is already in motion and that they should participate because these key players in their community are already doing so as well. Once the champions are set up, we start promoting this more broadly. We do this through emails and invites that we send. We provide you with materials you can hand out in person, and we work together to spread the word broadly to local businesses, nonprofits, civic organizations, and in fact perhaps county and other organizations as well. Over the course of 6 to 18 months, the program will reach a level of ubiquity that will truly be impactful, but all along the way, impact will grow, the number of people you reach will increase, and the value of the community will continue to climb. So to help you implement this, we have a few different programs. In all of these cases, the goal is that we hold your hand, that we provide a level of investment into your community, and help you spread the word proactively using our programs. We've talked with Lindsay about the Accelerate program and how that will add a number of workshops and webinars that will help people get the most out of their participation, but also fundamentally do a better job of marketing online. And so we can share everything from our Marketing 3-4-5 framework that helps them implement the marketing strategy to answer basic marketing questions as part of this. This is, again, a value add to your community. Finally, we can import events from existing calendars. So if there are a few folks in your community with great calendars already, we can pull them in without them having to re-enter that information. There's also a series of a la carte options available, including our ability to create ongoing content on behalf or train your staff on how to do that as well. I'll ask that Lindsay collect any questions you may have and submit them to me via email. Happy to respond that way, or schedule a follow-up call with anyone who'd like to learn more. Thank you for your time. I look forward to working with you and your community.
Okay. Let's do that. So, the additional services that are available to small businesses and nonprofits. For example, if there's an organization or a business that already has a website, take for example Second Street Emporium, but they want to promote what's happening at the community theater, and the community theater has also signed on to the Lookable service for free, and they post their event, then suddenly Second Street Emporium can have events that, what's happening at the community theater on their website. So that's really a great way for people to start cross-promoting, which is an important ingredient for success for small businesses. If it's a nonprofit or a civic group that currently doesn't have a website, then at a very low cost, they can help build like microsites or websites so that they then can be online and enter the digital era, which some just don't have the budget to do working through traditional media outlets or marketing services. So, for example, for $29.99 a month or $300 a year, they can have website packages, they can get ad campaign management, and for some people, that might not be their best option. Maybe they can afford to work with some local services that are more robust, but this is a good option for those that can achieve that. But none of that's required. Businesses and nonprofits wouldn't necessarily have to pay for the service at all, but our calendar is only going to be as good as those that actually will just have the link on their website, sign up for the service, but at that level where they're doing it for free, they're going to have to enter their events into that calendar to make it work. So they might still have their calendar in another. Now, if they also sign on or pay for the additional service, they could just pull, once they entered into their main calendar, they can pull it into this additional Lookable calendar. For us, we should be able to pull the chamber's calendar into our calendar and hopefully even pull the school's calendar. I probably need to do a little bit more research in terms of compatibility with different calendar systems. I know like Google and iCal and all of those things are compatible with this service, but what the schools use but I think theirs has several different compatibility things too, where you can download onto iCal, so it should be okay. The cost that we're looking at here, the primary cost is for the launch, so that's all of those additional services that they showed, the webinars, the materials for the mass emails and flyers and things. There's also the lesser cost, launch for $1,500, or we get none of those assistance things, which I think would be a little bit challenging and just go with the website. But after that, then it's only $300 a year. So that's in terms of marketing and in terms of what you're getting for the service, that's really inexpensive, and it doesn't require having somebody paid to load everything up all the time. So with that self-automating service. As far as any decisions tonight, if you have questions that you still would like to have answered before you make any decisions about signing up for this service, I totally understand that, and I welcome your questions, and we can bring it back again and do more research. But I thought this was an exciting tool to show to the council for your consideration.
Do they have any current clients that they can provide that we could go out to the websites and see how it functions with that cross?
They have just a few communities in California right now, and you can access those through their website, through the Lookable website, and go out and look at Placerville is one of them I know he mentioned, and there's a couple other. Like I said, this is pretty new, and I mean, Michael Wagler, who I talked about from the Iowa Economic Development Authority, he had literally just found out about it. I later, from talking to Brian Ostrowski, the man in the video, he had just met Michael at a different conference like the week before. So as far as being proven and tested in Iowa, I can't tell you that. Do we have to be late adapters or, on everything? Maybe not. So, but if you want to get out and look at, see how those other communities that are using it are actually working first, then that's totally fine.
So, I mean, basically you need community buy-in, you need people that are gonna sign up. Have you done any of that? Have you talked to any businesses or?
I haven't gone out to talk to the businesses yet. I've talked to a few people. I've kind of been hoping once the chamber now with the director gets up and moving, that would be an obvious partner. I mean, they have their chamber calendar as well. If they wanted to use this service, they could choose to only follow chamber members. That's why I wondered, is the city the appropriate anchor for that? You can have more than one anchor, obviously, but because they specifically serve their members, this would be a way to capture all of those other organizations that are not chamber members. But I've found this useful based off of what the community feedback has already been about increasing communication.
So-
We talked to a local person about this, and the cost point, Kent knows about doing a similar service, not the self-automated thing, was way higher, way higher, so.
So if a community group is willing to enter the information as they go, they wouldn't have any cost to this?
Right.
Okay.
Right. But if they want to have some of the additional features, the marketing things and stuff like that, they can. And that's where their business model comes, is like, you get your foot in the door, you like the experience, the free experience. It's like so many other software services now, right? You like the free experience, but you want the enhanced experience, and so you subscribe for those other services, so.
So I'm just trying to picture, so like farmers market and Lions Club events and Rotary events, and they could all sign in for free and have their events published through this group, right?
Yep, they could. Now, for some of them that if they don't have an existing website, it probably would be better for them, and I'm thinking specifically about some of those civic groups. Then in that case, if people wanted to submit events to me to upload onto our site, we could do that, or the farmer's market, since that's kind of a city thing, we would put that in there
That was
automatically.
gonna be my next question, is who does this if it needs to be done?
If it's a business or a nonprofit that already has a website, you could say that they probably are in a social media page and all that stuff. They're probably savvy enough to do it for themselves. They can have it linked on their website. So I don't want to be doing it for everybody, because then that's kind of losing the benefit of this automated service. But if it's, RSVP or something like that, doesn't have that capacity, then we'd be willing to help out with that.
But if you did have a small group and say they had an activity every week, you'd allow them to have the access to enter it themselves if they had a volunteer that was willing to do it.
Sure. Well, they wouldn't be able to access the city's account. You know what I'm saying? Like, they wouldn't be able to
They'd
log
have
in
to have a
from our side.
website, is what you're
Yeah,
saying. then.
they'd have to sign in on their own.
Well, now, correct me, does the city have a community calendar?
We don't have technically a community calendar. We have on our local website just the city calendar. And if we wanted to do something like this, it would be a lot more time taking all of those. I mean, because then it's not really solving that problem of, now I have to post to this calendar and that calendar and that calendar and this marketing strategy and this marketing strategy. And so we would leave our existing calendar right here, and we would leave that with official city business. Now, if it was something where you're having a town hall, something where it's more of a public engagement event versus just standard business with committees and things, we would put that in the local calendar or drag that from this calendar. But I don't think we would populate the local calendar with official city meetings and things like that.
Well, the concern I've got is the high school evidently has one, the chamber's gonna have one, the city's gonna have one. At what point are we getting a duplication? And this is a new system that we're looking at
Right.
in
No.
California, and I guess I'm a little skeptical of anything out of California.
Well, that's where a lot of the
I was there in
software
six-
developers are
I was there
located,
in
at Silicon
66, so
Valley.
I can tell you what I think of California.
Unfortunately,
Anyway,
that's where those firms are.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, it seems like there's some duplication on a lot of this stuff, but
Except, sorry, go ahead.
December 2nd of this year, I tried to get on the community calendar to find out, because I heard anecdotally there was a snow ordinance. And everything was supposed to be an off day. I was driving around town, and there was cars parked all over the place, and I moved my cars. And then I finally called the city this afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, talked to the police department. They said, well, they had a snow ordinance, but they canceled. But there was no cancellation on the city webpage.
As soon as it's notified, we're notified to take a cancellation down. It was posted on the top of the city webpage. Any alerts and updates like that are on the
Okay,
very
I
top
like to say
corner,
I
not on the
looked at it.
calendar.
But to your point of like redundancies and stuff like that, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, this service takes those redundant calendars and it gives it a common landing point. Because I think that's one thing that I get the most feedback on about community events and relaying information is they don't know where to go. And we've made a huge stride with the update of our website. I think that's much more user-friendly, it's not so intimidating, and we've pulled some more content there. But again, people are juggling like 4 or 5 calendars, even some community events or boards and stuff I sit on, different members of different groups have to literally like, oh, wait a minute, that's this, or wait a minute, that's this. To organize an event, you almost have to pull in about 6 different representatives from groups to be able to know what a weekend's gonna work, you know, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's actually solving that problem that you're talking about, Jim, because the school's calendar is just school. The
No, I
chamber
understand,
calendar is
but I'm
just
just saying
chamber.
it.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
this would
we're
pull
looking at
that
something
in.
in its infancy from California, and I guess, I don't know, I guess.
No, I get you though. I mean, it is
I have
kinda-
more reservations than I do.
It's a little bit of untested stuff, but for the price, I mean, like Lindsay's right. I mean, this is pennies on for services like this. You know, for MIS services, you know, for even companies to build a calendar for them, you know, this would be nothing. So, I could possibly see this taking off, you know, very quickly, a service like this. And the actual request tonight, is that to move forward with this, or is it to pick a service level?
If you chose to.
Okay.
If you want more information or a little more research, then I'm happy to provide that. But if you feel comfortable picking a service level in terms of that launch, because it'll be kind of a customizable package, or you could say, you know, we agree to go ahead and pursue, you know, and we'll come back with a final price point based on what customized services we need or something. So it wouldn't be actually signing on until we, you know,
The developer's name Mike, right?
Brian.
Brian, I don't know, I thought Mike. Anyway, would they be willing to let us start at a certain level and then just kind of, I guess, pay the difference to move up to a certain level after we kind of get our feet wet with it?
I think the launch is the launch. The benefit of the more expensive launch is the capability to pull in more calendars. So, because without that, if you're just website only, then we're just posting hours and following people, but we'd actually have the ability to drag and pull a different calendar automatically. And then we'd have the additional marketing materials, promotional materials. So the launch price points, I mean, the annual subscription doesn't change.
Sure.
There are additional features that we may or may not choose to pay for, and we could elect that, you know, going forward down the road. But the launch is, how much support do you want from their organization to actually roll this out, get the message out there, get people signed up to be on
So you're
board.
saying the launch is basically being able to take advantage of their technology and the automation part, the automated part, where the website only doesn't really do much for us, right?
It's still, the website only, we still could have people sign on with the free service, they could enter their events, we could enter our events, and we could follow them. But if there's, you know, I guess it depends, like if the school decided that they were going to, you know, auto-populate all of theirs, they'd have to have more than the free service, right? And so we could potentially pull their calendar or the chamber's calendar with that larger, or our own calendar into it. And then it's also, like I said, the extra messaging, extra materials, extra webinars and training, because it's going to require some hand-holding and some engagement to help people understand how to use the service. I think once you get up and going, it looks pretty user-friendly when you go navigate around the website, but
How do you picture getting people involved? You know, like,
I think I'm gonna start with some key businesses and nonprofits
Right.
that would probably get the most use out of this. You know, the community theater, the movie theater, some of the downtown retailers and things like that, that could see the most benefit and find those champions out of those.
I know at the theater we still have people, I have people Facebook message me, what time's the movie start, or what's the movie, or, so anything to help with that would be useful
Yeah,
there.
but what makes you think they're gonna go to something else that they're called, that you're applying?
I don't know, I will say I'm having trouble, I would like to see more info on it. I think it could be a good idea, but I'd like to, check out wherever it was,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, I think the concept is great as far as if it works the way it's intended and you get the buy-in from other groups in the community. I'll say I'm for one, I hate going here and there and everywhere to try to find out what's going on. And I feel like I'm fairly well plugged in, and there's lots of times where I read about something that happened, it's like I didn't have any idea that was going on.
Right.
So it'd be great to have a central location to be able to link out to everything that's going on and say, I got Saturday night free, what's happening?
Right.
I mean, basically, it's like a virtual table tent,
Yeah.
and well beyond that, but that's lowest common denominator, and I think that's awesome, but I'm for it too, if you guys wanna dig into it a little bit more, I appreciate.
There's no time crunch on it, if we can get more information, maybe all of us understand it a little better.
Yeah, so I guess I would encourage the public, to reach out to me if you're interested, if there are business members, somebody would be willing to be a champion, they like this idea. I mean, this is directly coming from the needs that were expressed in the community.
definitely.
So I certainly welcome more support in researching this and finding out if we have enough. Because like I said, we could get into this and spend the money for the launch and all that, but if people don't fully utilize it, then it isn't going to be everything that we hoped for.
So you can email some links to us to check out.
You bet.
Perfect.
And then do we just wanna table it for the next meeting?
Well, I guess I have a couple of questions. One is check with the local business people. I mean, we've got one gentleman sitting in the back of the room. I don't know what their feeling
I
is.
buy into that.
Okay,
I've
no,
seen
I'm,
this before, and I think it's great. I think it's something, we either gotta get on the cutting edge of things, or we're just gonna be farther and farther behind.
Yeah, it doesn't scare me that it isn't around here, that's fine. I don't have a lot of experience with marketing costs and stuff, but that seems pretty reasonable to me, so.
yeah, but the way I look at it too, and I guess the other way I look at it, there's an unlimited demand for a finite amount of city resources.
I get it.
I mean, look at what we have now, and, a lot of the city departments going through budget constraints now and can't get stuff, and this is another few $1,000s, which is insignificant to some people, but, if you're trying to buy additional equipment. So I'd
Goes
like to see-
both ways though, they need our support too. so.
I'm a department also that's been hired to provide a service and a
Well, I
task for the
understand that,
community,
but-
so.
And if it works, you bring in more people who are, going to the shops, going to the restaurants, generating tax revenue. I mean, it's a positive benefit if you get it to work.
If it works, the next person who gives the speech can say they used it in Iowa, and then the Jim Talbot at that meeting won't be California.
But I'm happy to do a little bit more research, maybe find a couple early champions that would be willing to come back and talk to the council. I want to make really sure that, I think the schools is another really important one. I feel like if we don't get the school calendar somehow incorporated in this,
Yeah.
even if it means they have to be an anchor to get it done, then, because you're right, all the community event planning we try to do, the one we always trip over is the school.
I wonder if we should visit with Mark Murphy at the school and just kind of get him informed and see what his thoughts are.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of the launch, if we do decide to move forward, to me, it makes sense to do the full package. I mean, you wanna make it work from the very beginning and be as robust as possible.
Sure.
But great idea, thanks for bringing
for
this
sure.
to us, this is
I
exciting.
mean, it's exactly what we've been asked to look, so.
Right, right.
So, it sounds like maybe a motion to table it
I'll move
after
to
some more
table it.
information.
Okay. And please email any questions that come up as I stew on this, and if you get out and look at the website a little bit, just email those questions and I'll get them to Brian to make sure we have answers.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we got a motion by McKinney?
I'll second.
That's to table it
Table
until the January
Future
7th
items.
meeting. Okay.
All right, table till January 7th, is that what you said? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? All right, item 7's been removed. All right, next section is D, reports and recommendations of officers, boards, and commissions. The following items have been deemed to be non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or a member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from the list, it will be considered in its normal sequence on the agenda.
I'll move to approve 1 through 4 collectively.
Second.
I need to read them, right?
You probably should read them.
All right, I'm gonna read them. 1, motion to accept and place on file the city manager November reports, electric, wastewater, water, electric year-to-date, water year-to-date, and code enforcement. 2 is motion to accept and place on file the police department November report. 3 is motion to accept and place on file the fire department November report. 4 is motion to accept and place on the file the Hamilton County Solid Waste Commission December agenda packet.
I still move to approve collectively.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, do we have any council committee reports? Are there any other reports or recommendations?
This is our last meeting of the year, correct?
Yes.
I just wanna say we had a good year. I mean, there's been some downfalls, obviously some businesses closing outside of our control, but I had the opportunity to write the city scene last month, and I wrote on like the small changes over time, and I tell you what, I mean, even though we may disagree sometimes on matters, I really do truly feel that Webster City's better now than it was last December. And, yeah, I just think 2018 was a great year for Webster City in a whole, so, look forward to serving with you again next year, everybody, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned.